nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilman Poole?
Here.
Councilman Cotton?
Here.
Councilman Littles?
Here.
Councilman Watson?
Here.
Councilman Barton?
Here.
Mayor Lovelace?
Here.
Quorum is present.
Approval of the minutes.
Make a motion for approval of the minute.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Cotton, seconded by Councilman Watson. Any discussion? Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yeah.
Councilman Littles?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
Motion passes. Minutes are approved.
I'd like to welcome our visitors today. There's several people in here I haven't seen before, and I'm glad you all are joining us today. Approval of the agenda.
Agenda is up on the wall for the visitors. Council has a copy. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. The agenda is approved as presented.
Next item is a public hearing on a White Horse Lounge, and I'll call that public hearing to order. Maybe Steve?
Mayor and members of the council, just for the record, I want to share with you that the White Horse Inn has requested a liquor license. A building of that age, when it's coupled with the request for an alcohol license, contact has to be made with the Alabama State Fire Marshal's office, and prior to that establishment being able to open its doors for business, we have to have a letter on file here from the State Fire Marshal's office giving approval that the building, the fire code, everything checks out and is acceptable. I sent a letter to the applicant stating such back on August the 11th, and as of yet, we have not received a letter of approval from the State Fire Marshal's office. So whatever your decision is today, I just wanted to make you all aware of that factor that is currently on the record.
Thanks, Steve. Would anyone else like to speak? Public hearing is closed. And do we have a motion to approve the?
Mayor, I'd like to make that motion to approve based upon what the State Fire Marshal says. The recommendation from them.
Second.
Have a motion by Councilman Watson, second by Councilman Cotton for approval based on that letter mentioned. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. If Mr. Uhouse's office sent a letter on August 11th, and we still have not gotten a response, how long does it take, Mr. Uhouse, to get a response from the State Marshal's office?
Now, that would be based on when the applicant contacted the State Fire Marshal's office. I sent a letter to the applicant for the license, making them aware of what the requirement would be. So then it would be incumbent or burdensome upon the applicant to contact the State Fire Marshal's office, get them to inspect it, and then give us a letter. So it's just my responsibility to contact the applicant. From there, it's the applicant's responsibility to work out the transactions with the Fire Marshal's office.
Okay.
You would think that a month would have been ample time, though, if that's straightforwardly answering your question.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Further discussion? Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Littles?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
License is approved based on that letter, and we'll hold that license. Thank you.
Under old business, there's none noted. And next is approval of the September accounts payable.
Mayor, I offer a motion that we do approve the accounts payable for September 2014.
Second. Go ahead.
Have a motion by Councilman Watson, second by Councilman Barton to approve. Any discussion? Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yeah.
Councilman Littles?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
Motion passes. Accounts payable are approved.
Next item is a resolution. John Angel, who is the present city clerk, is retiring in February of 2015. And this resolution is nominating Steve Uhouse, who is already a city employee, to begin training for that position to take an oath of office in January 12th of 2015.
May I make a motion to approve Resolution 14-0908?
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Barton, second by Councilman Watson to approve. Any discussion? Councilman Poole?
I'm voting no, and I want the record to reflect that I'm not voting against Steve for this position. I'm voting against the fact that this position has not been advertised, or not being advertised.
Councilman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Littles?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Calling Chief Magoogan, Halloween.
Mayor, City Council, spoke with the mayor earlier and also spoke with East Brewton. We're going to try to do Halloween on Thursday from 5 to 8, which is actually the 30th. I'm sorry, the 30th, Thursday.
We need a motion for that?
Yes, sir.
Make a motion.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Cotton, second by Councilman Barton for the Halloween activities stated. Any discussion? Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Littles?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Next item is proposed holiday schedule for the upcoming year with the exception of President's Day.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Watson, seconded by
Councilman Barton.
Councilman Barton to approve minus number 8, or President's Day. Any discussion? Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Littles?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
Motion passes. 11 holidays are approved.
We have some vacancies on the zoning board. And Charlie McDaniel, after serving numerous years on that board, has requested to not to be reappointed. So in his place, appointing Don Ward, reappointing Adam Powell and Betty Clark. The next item is a committee appointment for the upcoming Brewton Development Authority, term expiration of Dan Weaver, and to also fill the vacant position of Lawrence Patton, and I'll appoint Councilman Cotton and Councilman Poole.
Just for those who don't know, Mr. Patton resigned actually several months ago, but Brooks Garrett, who's the chair, still wants that position filled, so that's an open vacancy. We are about to have a new owner of JetPep, originally owned by Six Flag Groceries when it first opened. They're transferring ownership to this Zapp Incorporated, Mr. Arvinder Galati. And since the license is in effect, the Alcohol Beverage Control Board has approved these licenses as names changes with no public hearing. And this is the first one for the retail table wine off premises only, and we recommend this be approved. Let me show
I'll
you
make the
this.
motion.
Just a second.
Second.
There we go.
Who made a motion? Cotton.
Oh, okay. We have a motion by Councilman Poole, second by Councilman Cotton to approve. Any discussion? Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Littles?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
Motion passes and license is approved. Second one is the same new owner, same location. This one is for the retail beer, off premises only. Also, once owned by Six Flag Groceries. I'll be a little faster this time. There's a resolution appointing that one, or approving that one, rather.
A motion to approve it.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Watson, second by Councilman Littles to approve. Any discussion? Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yeah.
Councilman Littles?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
Motion passes, name change is approved.
The next item is recommend that the council approve Lynn Likely to go through the Chamber of Commerce Leadership Course.
May I make a motion to approve? Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Barton, second by Councilman Littles to approve Lynn Likely as the candidate. Any discussion? Councilman Poole?
Yes.
Councilman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Littles?
Yes.
Councilman Watson?
Yes.
Councilman Barton?
Yes.
Motion passes and Ms. Likely will be applied. Any announcements? We have two comments tonight. The first one is by Mr. Mike English. Mr. English.
Mayor, Council, thanks for having me. A couple of years ago, some Walker Brothers Family Entertainment out of Florida, Tampa, Florida, they come here several times in the past, say like 10 years ago, and they did a circus fundraiser. They contact local people in the community that are looking for a way to have a fundraiser. The circus comes in, it's pretty much hands-free. They just ask that you help them provide a location. You sell the tickets. Part of the way you sell the tickets is how you make your money for the fundraiser. They just ask that you provide them some water for their animals and a dumpster so they can clean their trash up and stuff like that. The time that they contacted the council about 4 years ago, the city council, the office right here, the chamber, was kind of going through some tough times. I think they had a girl that had taken another job, somebody was on maternity leave, blah, blah, blah. So the circus says, well, we're going to be in Op the night before and we're going to another town the next night. Brewton would be a great stop. Somehow they got my phone number. I don't know. And so they called me and asked me if I'd like to help put the circus on, and it'd be a great fundraiser. Could I come up with something to do with it? So the first year I did it for the Yancey Jernigan Foundation, and it was a good thing. Everything went smooth. These guys come in the day before, they set up that tent. When they leave the next morning, about 7 o'clock up there where they're going to set up, you absolutely can't even tell that they've been there. And it's a good thing for the community. And this year, last year I did it for the Brewton Civitan Club, and we were able to provide some learning devices, some electronic devices for the special needs class at the W.S. Neal Elementary School for their special needs class. They ended up costing us about $500 or $600, and we were able to provide it through the circus. The circus has already provided me with the tickets and all to sell. The location that we use is actually up there right beside Tractor and Supply. They set up right there in the parking lot. They run it through the people that own that whole shopping center. The insurance is taken care of. They're covered. This is like a 9th generation circus, so there's no issues there. Everything is handled properly. There's 2 shows that night. This will be October the 6th. Just have to kind of work it during that time because with football season, junior varsity games, B-team football games, and things of that nature, October the 6th was when they could do it. You kind of have to do it when they can, but I tell them nights, you can't do it in Brewton on a Friday night, obviously, because of football. Most small towns are like that. So October 6th is when the circus is. Our project that we've come up with this year is I've partnered with the YMCA, and Stephen Dickey and I have actually had some meetings on this, and I've talked with the principal at the elementary school, and what we're going to do is try to provide swimming lessons, a swimming program for all kids in 3rd grade at the Brewton Elementary School. There's with the city pool not being what it was when I was a child, and there not being a whole lot of opportunities for kids in the town as far as swimming goes. There's just so many children that, you know, they may not even know how to swim because they don't have the opportunity to swim. They just don't have the fees to maybe join the Y. They don't have that opportunity. I mean, some kids that age, I mean, the biggest body of water they ever been in might be a bathtub, you know. But if you can teach and try to make sure that all kids are comfortable being in the water, the ones that can swim a little bit, teach them how to swim even better. The ones that have never even been in a pool, if you can just teach them to walk in the water, maybe get waist deep, you can help them maybe keep from shock happening if they ever fell in a mud hole or something that was deep water, and just try to help these kids. The money that we're going to use is actually to pay for the extra lifeguards during this, and also for any kids who may not have, you know, a bathing suit. Some kids, they may have to provide some other type of flotation devices because there's going to be a lot of children that may not be able to swim. And so I'm going to use the money for this. We've already met with the principal of the elementary school to try to, you know, help provide this program through the school. Stephen's been involved with this when he was at Wise and other towns in Mississippi. Petal, Mississippi, this was a big program they did, and he thinks it'll be able to work here. So I'm going to try to use the money for the circus to provide that program. What I'm asking for today is to please, if I could waive the licensing fee, because whatever the licensing fee is, I mean, last year I think the circus, we only made like $500, and so with the money that I make, if I have to use it all to pay for the licensing fee, then I won't have the money to give to the kids in the school or the Y. It's nonprofit. None of this is going in my pocket. It's all going to the YMCA, and we're going to use that for the kids in the school. So, I mean, the whole program is for them. So I'm just asking if we can waive the licensing fee to be able to do this so we can provide this program for the kids.
Let me ask a couple questions. I need to ask it over here to Ed and John. One, can we, if the council wanted to waive the license fee, could they? And two, how much is the license fee?
It's $3.50 per day. And I can tell you the other carnivals and circuses, they go like from Monday to Sunday. We would normally charge them one day, and this is only one day. So I don't see a problem with waiving it if we can waive it.
Well, that's kind of out of a gray area here. It's traditionally, we've done things like he said for the quarterback club, man, and so on and so forth, but technically it's kind of a hard thing to do, but it's whatever the council desires.
Michael, when's the date of this?
October the 6th.
Would you mind if we just check in this a little bit more? And
Sure.
We have a meeting before October the 6th, and I'll get an answer for you. You don't have to come back. I'll get an answer for you. Okay?
I'll do whatever you tell me.
I just need to know what's legal.
Like I say, none of this is for me. I don't know how I got to be the circus guy in Brewton, Alabama, but I don't mind it because I don't mind giving to kids. I don't have any of my own, and I'll do whatever I can. I don't mind volunteering.
You do a good job. The circus is a good thing. So.
I probably ought to join it, but the way it works is 35%. You get 35% of the profits from every ticket for the first 250 tickets. If you go through the first 250 tickets, then they send you 250 more, and you actually get 50% of that face value of the ticket. It's to motivate you to sell as many tickets as possible. So, you know, we're less than a month away. So, you know, we're just trying to, you know, crank this up.
We'll get an answer to you before then. Council will vote on it, but first, before we vote, we just need to see what the law is, and that Ed had a little time to research it.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mike.
All right.
Second comment is by Ms. Lisa Nelson. Ms. Nelson?
Have to bring my water up here because my mouth will start getting dry in a minute. But thank you for allowing me, especially in such short notice, to come and speak. I'm here to address, well, I'm really not here to address any legal matters that are going on right now. I know that there are some people here that are expecting me to go into particulars or about recent events that have occurred in our local school system, but what I'm really here is to address the fact that we seem to live in a culture of fear surrounding our school system. It seems that there are parents and students alike who harbor the fear of repercussions whenever there are events, policies, or decisions that are questioned. Over the last month, I've been contacted by so many parents, and they've had so many questions that have gone unanswered, but they are not willing to come forward. And to be perfectly honest with you, if I still had children in the school system, I wouldn't be standing up here right now myself because of that same thing. While we have some really, really outstanding teachers at T.R. Miller High School and the whole Brewton City school system, but there are apparently some that need to be looked at a little bit more closely. How do we protect our children and our parents, and how do we change this culture of fear that's within our school system? And why is it that people fear going to the administration when they have problems? I mean, has it reached the point where we need to just go to straight to the state level? I would be really interested to know what's documented and what's not. Because, you know, there are a lot of rumors about what's known and what's not known. We know, you know, there's somebody saying that they went to the school system a year and a half ago. School system says no. How do we know what's documented and what's not? Because so many times all we hear is, we'll take care of it. And that's the last thing you ever hear about it. When I had kids in school and they would come home and tell me certain things that would really, really concern me, and I'd say, I'm going to the school, and my kids would beg me not to go because they knew that it was going to be worse on them if I did go. And so I didn't. I didn't, because I knew that's how it is, and I didn't want to make things worse for them. So I just allowed it to go on, and I've heard from so many other people that that's the same case with them as well. I know that there's a letter going around, and I'm sure y'all are aware of it. I got a copy of it. It has some really valid questions on there. But my biggest concern, and Mr. Barton, you asked me when you came into the office the other day, you asked me if I wrote it.
I did.
And my response was no, because if I had written it, I would sign my name to it. That's the problem. The person that wrote it won't sign their name to it, and there's some valid questions on there. There's some that are not, but there are some that are very valid questions. But you just have to wonder, I know when Karma tried to come here a year or two ago to address the bullying situation, and she was told that there's not a bullying situation at T.R. Miller High School. And I think Ted Jennings allowed her to come and speak at a different venue and invite everyone in. There are some teachers that are apparently bullying kids. They're fostering a fear in these kids to make them afraid to come forward. There's a ton of examples, and I could go on and on. But my main concern is, what do we do? How do we get rid of it? I really don't know where to go from here, because I have sent out, I don't know if any of you've seen it, but I've posted things on Facebook and asked people, write down your ideas. Let's put them all together and come up with what we want to see changed in the school system, what's working and what's not. And 9 times out of 10, the responses that I get are, okay, these are the things that I'd like to see happen, these are the questions that I have that need to be answered, but you can't put my name in there because I've got a child in the school system. That's been 99% of it. And so that's why we're not even anywhere close to addressing the changes that we want to see, because we've got to figure out where this fear's coming from and how do we change it. I want to know what we can do. I want to know what the council's willing to do to help us with this. You know, I know that I don't have children in the school system anymore, but I consider myself a voice to speak out for people who are afraid to speak. Because like I said, if I had kids, I wouldn't be up here. We claim to have this awesome school system, and you can't base it on these test scores, because they've been studying the entire time they've been in school to pass these state and federal tests. And they're missing out on so many other things because of it. I know I'm wandering here, but my point is, there's a child right now, a very, very bright child, who is in the 9th grade, who's learning exactly the same thing that he learned in the 8th grade. And he wants to go off to school. It's going to be a school that's going to be hard to get into, and he's afraid that he's not going to, because he's still learning the same thing, because he's being taught to pass the graduation exam on the first try. Okay. This parent won't come out and say, that's just another example of this fear, this culture of fear that we have. Personally, if we can improve our school system and quit talking about how great and wonderful T.R. Miller High School is, the greatest high school in the state of Alabama and the United States. I've heard that so many times. Sure, there are some wonderful things about it, but there's so much room for improvement in that school. And if we were to actually improve it academically, then you would be more likely to have people send their children to T.R. Miller. All you have to do is look at all the people that moved down here to go to work at GP. Their kids don't go to the school system here. They don't live in Brewton. They sent their kids to another school. That's a sign right there that something's wrong. By improving our school system, it can't do anything but improve the situation in the state, in the city of Brewton. I mean, it can't. It's a win-win. You know, when you have a great academic program, everybody's going to benefit. And I guess my question here is, you know, how can you help me, or will you help me to overcome this culture of fear so that we can move on to the next step, where people will come out and speak up instead of fearing for the repercussions that their children are going to face when they go forward or try to report something that they see that's going on.
Lisa, to try to answer your question, which is hard to answer because
I know.
it's an easy answer, it ought to be answered, right?
I just need help. I do, because it's just unbelievable.
And you know, one of the first things that I think you've done to help is just to come here today and speak in an open forum and talk about problems that are seen by people and discussed around. I've read some of your posts on Facebook. You've done a very good job on that. You expressed yourself well today. As far as the city council, okay, as a council, you know, we're limited because we have no control over the school board or any of these other items. And we appoint the school board members, and from that point on, we have no control over that situation. But that being said, that doesn't mean individual council members, the mayor, or anybody else wouldn't be happy to meet with any groups that of concerned parents that wanted to talk about, to try to do something to help our schools to get better. You know, in my whole working career, I've always worked for change and wanting to make things better in the city of Brewton. And there's been numerous organizations I've worked with and president of. I'm always about that. And I ran for public office to try to continue that. I'm still about that. And so what I'm saying, I'm offering you my services too. I can't offer the services of the city council of the city of Brewton because we have no authority over it. But as individuals, you know, it is our schools. It is our city. And the harder we work to improve it, it lifts lifts us all up, so.
It does. And based on your answer, it sounds like to me, until we do figure out an answer to the problem, when people have complaints, that they need to go to the state level with them to make sure that they are documented. Because I mean, I would be really shocked if I would be surprised to see if the majority of the things that are reported are actually documented within the school system.
And, you know, and I would hope that if there are things that are out there that are against the law, that are rumored, I would hope that they're being investigated either by the police, the district attorney, or by the attorney general, or whoever is the right body. And I would suggest that those people that are sending you these things, at least for them to send it on to the right people to have them investigated. You know, nobody wants those things to go on. And the last council meeting, I made a pretty good little talk about what was going on in the city and how I felt it impacted the city, and sent it to the paper, and you may have read it. It was the editorial in the paper. But no, I think everybody at this table stands willing on an individual basis to do what they can. And you know, and I certainly am. And you know my phone number. I talk to your husband on a regular basis. So, you know, call me, and I'll be happy to meet with you at any time. And maybe together we'll get a committee together that wants to move.
Well, let me ask you a question about the school board. I know they're appointed, and I don't have a problem with the school board being appointed. I know that there are some people that would rather see them elected, but personally, I think that appointments are the way to go. I don't know why we can't appoint people who are out of district. It may be a legal issue. I don't know. You know, there's a lot that I'm still trying to educate myself on. But are they not when they are appointed, are they not supposed to be appointed for a 5-year period, and every year one rotate off as one rotates on? Is that not the way it's set up right now?
I don't know if it rotates that way or not.
I read that.
In 2007, I don't have the list in front of me, but it was mandated that all of them are appointed cyclically the last week of May, somewhere during the council's last meeting in May. I believe it is 5 years, but a lot of them are grouped together. They're not one every 5 years.
Because the way I read it, when I was finally able to find it.
Is it 4?
It's 4 years.
Okay,
You don't
4.
automatically rotate off. No.
But in 2007, it was mandated that week only they'd be appointed.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure when I finally was able to find it by looking on the city board's website, and also, this is the way the state mandates it as well. I'm almost positive that it said 5-year terms with a new person being appointed every year as one person rolls off every year. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know the exact term. I could look that up. You may be right, whatever the number is, but
yeah.
But they can be reappointed, but we appointed a new one this year, so I mean.
And do you know if it is, I mean, why we're not appointing people who are out of district? Is that?
I'm sorry, what now?
Why we don't ever appoint people who are out of district? Is that a legal thing, or?
But it is a Brewton City Schools, and.
I understand, but I just know we have so many people that are in the school system that are outside of the district, and I just didn't know if that was a law.
Sort of like one of the people that does a lot of bloggings in Birmingham. You sort of, when they're outside the city limits, they're just outside the city limits. And it is our school, and that's our responsibility since it's our school. It's the way I would think, and it may be the law too. I just don't know what the law is.
Okay, well,
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Have you been to the school board?
Not yet, but I'm going to. I mean, I will. Stephanie Walker called me. She called me Friday. I spoke with her on Saturday or Sunday, and I wasn't really ready because she wanted to know what changes I wanted to see and what my issues were, and I told her I really wasn't ready to discuss it with her yet because we're not there yet because like I said on my post, I can't and I will not do this on my own. And until this culture of fear is taken care of, nothing's going to happen because I'm not going to do it on my own. I can't do it on my own. And there are too many people that are afraid to put their names out because they still have kids in the school system. But no, I plan to get on the agenda for their meeting and talk to them about this as well, but I don't know what anybody can do about it other than raise
I would
awareness.
encourage people to, if people won't change, I encourage them to work toward change.
And I'm not out for
they
blood.
always-
I'm not out for anybody's job. That's not my agenda.
Right.
It's not. My agenda, once people are no longer afraid, is change that will benefit the school and the city. That is my agenda.
Well, I don't know if it's any encouragement to you or not, but I think it's a good philosophy that say that if you get in trouble for being right, right will get you out of trouble. So if you come forward, whoever the parents are, you got to eliminate that fear. And the fear goes away when you are sure that you're right. And I don't think there's anything to fear because I think that everybody on this council, most of the people on the Board of Education stand for what is right. Now, your faculty and your staff, I can't vote for them.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mr. Littles, I appreciate your comment, but it is a fact that when children go and they make or a parent goes and makes a complaint about something that's going on in the school system, they get punished for it. Not always, but a lot of the time they do, and so that's why people will not come forward. That's why there are people who will not come forward publicly in this mess that's going on right now with the school system.
I think basically everybody knows that, like I said, if you're right, you cannot be retaliated against for being right in any situation. And I think
Well,
that's
ask some of the kids that have transferred to Neal because they were bullied out of the school system. Because it's a fact. It is, and it's a sad fact, but it's a fact. But anyway, I appreciate your time, and if y'all have any ideas, any way that you can help me to move this along, I appreciate any and all comments. Not everybody has to agree with me, and I don't have to agree with everybody. I just want to have a civil discussion and come up with a way that we can improve the school system and therefore improve this city. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Motion, get more?
Okay.
Motion we adjourn.